The Red Dirt D&D podcast is brought to you by Pro Laser Cuts. The Oklahoma company provides pre-made and customizable design laser cut dice towers, tokens, and more, developed by a gamer for gamers, and now available to enhance your tabletop game. Pro Laser Cuts products can be found at many Oklahoma City area game stores, local events, and now available online at prolasercuts.com. That's laser and cuts with a Z, Pro Laser Cuts. And by SD Way Gaming, where dice goblins unite. Our friends at SD Way Gaming celebrate the beautiful dice players handpick for their games and splendor. SD Way Gaming has expanded to include many tabletop gaming varieties, accessories, and similar fun necessities to include a service for your dice addiction. You can shop for a variety of products at sdwaygaming.com or find SD Way Gaming on Facebook. Welcome to Red Dirt D&D. I'm Michael Cross, and I play Elias Stone, a human cleric.
I'm Connor Shenold. I play Sable, a half-elf rogue.
I'm Johnny Payne, and I play August E. Greymore, a human fighter.
I'm Kerri Hester, and I play Moxie, a tiefling bard.
And I'm Brooke Bullock, your DM. Please join us as we explore the curse of the Clockwork City. While conducting a bit of reconnaissance and info gathering at the Copper Moon in regards to Ironspire's elven businessman Zaylin Pierce, our adventurers have unexpectedly attended the same evening that a group of second-rate thieves attempted a heist. After quick and bloody work on the two apparent leaders, a male wizard and a pirate-patched rogue, the party brought the three remaining henchmen before the Copper Moon's head of security, a dwarf named Edward Gut King, who uses a clockwork wheelchair for mobility. Our scene ended last week with Zaylin Pierce, the proprietor of the Copper Moon, appearing at the balcony above the main gaming floor. And after a moment's pause, he speaks, and his voice seems to fill the whole casino, not booming, just loud enough to be heard as it seems to come from all directions. Friends and citizens, I'm so glad you're here. If you've been aware of a small disruption in the main hall, please know that all is amended. The next two rounds of action at any table are on the house, and the bar is open for the next half turn of the clock. And as he finished speaking, there's a murmur of satisfaction that goes through the crowd. The live musicians start playing at their normal performance level again. And it seems as if most people have chosen to forget what's happening around them. The restrained thugs, the two large cloth-covered pushcarts that have appeared where a couple of bodies used to be, ignoring cleaners with wands that have descended on some of the more gruesome stains on the floor. Each of you might be a little surprised after glancing around to notice these things, that when you look back, Zaylin Pierce has already descended the stairs and is moving gracefully toward your group. Thoughts, ideas?
Act natural.
I'm going to make sure that no one looks like they're trying to slip a dagger out of their belt or anything. Not yet, anyways.
He's a tall elven man, high cheekboned, untouched by time, despite the fact that he's mid-elven in his years. Sharp slate gray gaze seems to be assessing and calculating as he moves toward you. Ash blonde hair that's impeccably groomed and swept back in a little controlled wave. Seems like it'd probably never be out of place. Tonight, he's wearing a three-piece tailored suit that's white with deep midnight blue highlights and some subtly embroidered elven patterns that swirl with an amber-colored thread. Double-breasted vest, miniature little lunar clasps on them, high-collared frock coat with some brass filigree on the cuffs and the lapels. It's definitely ostentatious, but not gaudy. You can tell everything about it says wealth. He's got a copper-colored cravat pin shaped like a crescent moon near his neck. And roll me perception check.
20 non-naturally.
Oh,
16.
16?
15.
Too low.
As he approaches, Dr. Stone, you catch a scent of sandalwood and aged whiskey. Those of you who rolled 10 or higher, you notice that coming in on the side with you are some servants with trays of drinks as well.
So I guess you are the owner of this establishment.
He nods at you and acknowledging your question, gives a little nod, and then he turns toward the dwarf and says, "Thank you, Edred, for sorting this all out." And he adjusts his cuffs a little bit and then looks back at you and says, "Quite the display earlier," as his eyes drift over to August and Sable.
I had re-hid my daggers. Do you want a roll for that?
Let's do it.
Modified 20.
Yeah, that works. He doesn't give any indication that he saw you resheathe your weapon. But yes, the head of security, if by chance you look over, he's just giving you a very, very stern look and looks over to your left arm where you've got that hidden.
It's probably perfect timing for August to step up and say to Zaylen, "No need to thank us. It's a good thing that we were here. Who knows what they could have done if we weren't around." Looking at head of security with a respectful nod, like, "You're welcome to."
He reaches out and takes a wine glass off of one of the servant trays that's there. You guys might notice that there, at your service if you need to, are some trays with wine, water. Some glasses have an ample 3-finger pour of a rich auburn-colored beverage. And he says, "Bravery and resourcefulness, qualities I deeply respect. May the luck of Seos favor the bold," and he lifts up his glass.
I'll grab one of the champagne flutes off of there and raise it as well. The Seos' luck.
In the toast to Seos, and then I'll raise my glass and say, "And to good arms."
Moxie, any drink grabbing? Or just
I rolled bad on my perception, right? So I imagine during this entire time, I'm just patting Kira down, for lack of a better term, making sure she's completely okay. She has everything she needs. So I think that I'm just like not participating in that conversation. Does that make sense?
Kira is recovered from the blindness. She is staying very close to you. Different air has taken over her. Instead of the provocative, confident, she now has fallen into a more reserved and really giving you vibes of high-class subordinate. Very much like a child, like a younger daughter that is in a very formal social situation.
But because she's clocked Pierce, right? Because she's in on this conversation. So that's like her
100%
dad's
knows who he is.
friend.
Her dad is on the council with Zaylen Pierce.
Right. But I don't want to just like assume that her dad is here and or that she wants to see him. So that's why I was asking if she wanted to go home or if she wanted to stay or if she wanted to go somewhere else.
So I understand that you are the proprietor of this establishment, but I hadn't caught your name yet.
He gives an amused smile as if someone wouldn't know who he is and how quaint that is. He extends a hand and says, "My name is Zaylen Pierce. I'm the proprietor of this fine establishment, and I just want to thank you and your colleagues for helping my security team." And he looks over at Edward and says, "We'll need to talk later." And Edward says, "Yeah, there was a small discrepancy in search protocols."
Could I have that back, by the way?
"No, sir."
One day.
Well, we wouldn't want anything to happen to this fine establishment, and knocks back another drink off the champagne.
"Well, indeed, I'm very interested in the fact that you were able to help."
So he shook Dr. Stone's hand.
He did.
Can I kind of horn in on this handshaking, like put myself next in line?
My name is Dr. Elias Stone, and this is my friend Moxie.
Hiya there, Moxie Brio, CEO of the Siren Song over in the Docks area neighborhood.
Oh.
And he reaches out to shake his hand. When I shake his hand, I'm trying to mark him.
How interesting. And he reaches out, and as he shakes your hand, he tilts it up and gives it one of those kiss on the back of the hand type of greetings with that. And roll me a wisdom save.
That was a nat 20, so 21.
If you had been a younger lady, if you had been someone with less experience, you might have been overcome by those slate gray eyes and that charming voice and that delicate kiss on the back of the hand. But you've seen all this before. You do feel your heart kind of flutter, but you're able to keep it in check.
Oh, Mr. Pierce, you're quite a charmer. And of course, you know Kira here. Do you know if her father's here?
He glances over at Kira and he's like, Mrs. Lauren, how wonderful to see you again. And her face just starts to flush, right? And she's kind of nods.
She's been through quite a lot. I think it would be important to, get her home safe and sound.
Oh, we can definitely take care of that. We wouldn't need to worry about any other unfortunate events happening tonight.
Did the magic work though? I'm trying to mark him.
There you go. You see it pulse and flitter out.
Off his hand or into his hand?
Off of it, it doesn't stick.
I trust, much like my friend here said, we wanted to make sure nothing happened to your establishment, nor the people inside. I trust everyone upstairs as well.
Oh yes, I believe everyone upstairs is just fine. They're enjoying a little bit of brandy and refreshments for the moment until we're able to get back to that VIP event. But I wanted to personally come down, and his eyes move to each one of you, and meet each one of you. I appreciate you being here.
Well, thank you, Mr. Pierce. I can't speak for the rest of these people, but I know I'd sure be interested in seeing what sort of display you've got on there. Maybe that could be a way of giving some proper thanks.
Upstairs is a private party tonight. I'm afraid we don't have room for any more guests, but if you'll accompany me just across the way, I have a private lounge that we could all sit at for just a few moments before I'm pulled away back to my other guests.
I think that would be lovely, especially as it's starting to get a little noisy in here.
Edward, if you'll have your men take care of our other guests, and he references the 3 thugs that are still there, but accompany me, that would be fantastic. And so, Edward Gutking in his clockwork wheelchair starts to lead you guys across the room, really right next to the orchestra band that's there, and get to a door, and Zaylen's following along with Edward. You guys perhaps are behind. And he opens up, goes in. Inside is a very well-furnished room. There's a large dark wood oval table of about 15 feet long, surrounded by several large, opulent leather chairs. Zaylen Pierce sits down at one near the head of the table. Edward Gutking wheels his clockwork wheelchair just inside the door to the private lounge, and once you all get inside, he closes it. There's a faint scent of fine cigar that's mingling with the aged mahogany smell and polished brass. There are 2 curtains on the west wall, the one that's opposite of the door, but they have very heavy velvet curtains over those windows. Perhaps you all take a seat?
Well,
I'll take a seat.
we need to leave to get refreshments, or will we have some of those fine metallic-looking servants who went upstairs bringing us?
Metallic. Oh, the children. Unfortunately, those particular young people are in service again for my special event. And about that time the door opens and 2 servants come in, and one of them again has a tray of some small hors d'oeuvres and another round of drinks if anyone needs one. Another servant comes in, and on that tray are 5 coin purses, and he takes one and places it in front of each of your seats. And Zaylen says, "You've done me a great favor tonight. Edward and his men could have handled it, but your actions stopped the unwise almost before they had a chance to complete their own poor decisions."
Any idea what they were going to do, what their goal was?
It just appeared to be general robbery. Why they thought the Copper Moon would be a good choice is beyond my comprehension. But please, consider this a sign of my gratitude.
I pick it up and I check to see how much is in there.
Yeah. You want to make any type of check, or?
I think that I would just take it and shake it and put it in my pocket. So can I just insider perception?
Yeah. Sounds good.
19 either way.
It's probably a couple hundred gold pieces. And yes, so just for behind the scenes bookkeeping, each pouch has 200 gold pieces in it.
Moxie starts on the table.
Yeah, I don't go to reach for mine. It just stays in front of me.
I'm not going to say anything, but I'm not taking that money.
If anyone refills drinks or takes a little hors d'oeuvre or whatever, they leave some of them in key places on the table, the hors d'oeuvres or whatever. And then Zaylen, with a wave of his hand, dismisses those attendants. So it's just himself and Edgar and our heroes sitting here around the table. He smiles, takes his fingers and steeples them together and says, "Now, before you leave, I get a feeling you have questions, shall we talk about what we were really here for?
Here's the thing, Moxie knows that person, especially a man, is gonna do nothing but incriminate himself if he talks. So she's just gonna let him evil monologue.
I'll do the talking, hold on.
And Sable is still disguised.
Brooke, if you allow, could I take the hat off, but technically just, as I'm pulling the brim away, what's hidden behind it gets magicked to where it looks like nothing's there, but I still technically have the hat on, but it's like illusioned not to be there?
So you're gonna take the illusion of not having a hat. I think we could make that work rules as written, right? Because you still got the hat on, you've just illusioned that you've taken the hat off. Yeah. Okay. And so as one of your accoutrements is now a hat in your hand. If anyone reaches for the hat in your hand, it's not really there. If they reach for your head, they would find a hat, an invisible hat there. Yeah, we can make that work for sure.
So, as we're getting settled here, and a little bit before he asks this question, but after the gold has been presented, I will kind of respectfully, of being indoors, take my hat off and put the hat over the gold pouch. Again, I don't know about these folks, but I was just here to gamble. Saw some interesting sights of kids with strange prosthetics going upstairs, and now it's got me a little curious.
Insight roll. He gives you a very familiar look, one you've seen on Minthra's face before, of like lying, so unbecoming. He has that slightly amused smile.
Would August notice this look he's giving him?
I think so.
I'll heavily set my drink down to make a thump and lean forward and say, hey, lean up and just look him in the eye.
A man of the people.
We're here because of the children.
Oh.
Am I lying?
No.
Why don't you tell us about them?
So he leans back and he says, oh, the prosthetics. Well, you may have heard of my past, and his eyes linger a little bit on Moxie, but ultimately, I'm a merchant, I'm a businessman, now even a philanthropist. It's all true. What they fail to mention sometimes is how much I've sacrificed to get here. Risen from nothing, built something of worth, only to be met with suspicion at every turn. And his eyes glance over towards Sable. I know what it means to be alone and living on the streets with nothing. And he looks at August. To have a future at my fingertips, and it's stolen away. Looks at Dr. Stone. To want to find a purpose and to help others. And then glance over at Moxie. Maybe even the hope of finding a new family, a better one.
But at what cost?
I have no interest in crime, Mr. August. I've seen what it does, how it poisons, how it takes. The Copper Moon is not only my sanctuary from these things, it's also my vehicle for improving things here in Ironspire. These children, they've been destitute and poor. They have little future ahead of themselves, and now at the Piercing Light Orphanage, we've given them a chance.
After you've had them maimed.
No. What are you talking about?
The fishery?
The fishery? We have no business in the wharfs down at Bridgetown.
Well, these children that you speak of, they had something. They had peace, they had calm, they had hope. And then they were taken from their beds to the fishery. And suddenly, they're missing limbs. And oh look, they're here now with your new, shiny business attached to their bodies.
Well, that's the work of Dr. Wickham and other doctors here in town. There's a wonderful lady at the Ironspire Hospital, and her name slips away from me at the moment, but...
Dr. Stone's type it.
Could I do an insight on that?
Yeah, you bet.
17.
He appears to be, not surprised, but he appears to be ignorant of whatever it is that August is referring to, about maiming.
So I asked you about the children. You started to speak of business and how you're doing good for the city. You know nothing of these children losing their limbs, and the only thing you know of them gaining new ones is Dr. Stone's cipher provided them. I ask you again, what's the deal with the children?
Well, again, my intention is to give them hope the way I had no hope.
So you're just giving them a job?
That's part of it,
Putting
yes.
some coin in their pocket. What is the other part?
Well, the other part is, although it is very possible to leave a productive and effective and successful life without a prosthetic, if one is, pardon me for saying it this way, more whole, then sometimes life is easier. The world is built for people with 2 arms and 2 legs and mobility. So we give these children a leg up. Dr. Ambrose Wickham at the Piercing Light Orphanage, he's a saint. He came and asked for my help in funding these things for them, and it has been a pleasure to help his work.
They would have had no need for your help and your funding or the good doctor's deeds if they hadn't been taken from their beds in the middle of the night to the fishery where their limbs were removed. If you want to find someone to help become more whole and more mobile, maybe you should look a bit closer, and I'll glance over to Edward. So again, why the children?
He smiles, he says, "Oh, August, you misunderstand. Selfishly, I must say I am using the children because," and he glances toward Edward, "I have someone very close to me who could benefit once this technology is complete. And children do serve a purpose in that they are adaptable and they often can learn how to use things that we take longer to learn as adults." Natural 20 on his persuasion there. That seems very, very believable.
Yeah, but I think I'm taking it the wrong way. I'm taking it in a way of, yeah, I need someone to experiment on. So let's see what Big Daddy Payne gets on a natural 4. I'm snookered.
Because he made these very personal comments about us, and we have exactly zero reason to be on this man's radar at all.
I'm sure I am known in town.
I don't believe that this man would have any reason to know who you are.
If he's in bed with a bad plot with the guard, he knows who I am.
Yeah.
That's the.
I don't think he did.
I think he
has
would.
anything to do with that.
I think he would know August.
But the
rest
other
of
thing
us-
on top of that is, I don't think that the guard necessarily sees you as a threat. I say this with love.
Yeah.
They eliminated you by getting you out of the guard. And so like you're annoying and they like to poke fun at you, but I don't think that they think that you could do anything about it, that you could get back. Anyway, I don't see any reason for this man to know any of these things. Especially, why would he even know who Sable is? Because Sable's in complete disguise right now. Mm-hmm. You just got here like 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Can I do some kind of arcana or something to figure out if he's using any kind of magic to try to like mind read or figure this stuff out? Why has he singled us out?
Go right ahead.
A 3.
That is a great guess. The dice did not favor Moxie, but allow me to give a gear of fate to Kerri, because Kerri has figured out how does this guy know some things, what mechanically is happening here.
Can I do an Arcana check?
Sure.
How about a 19?
It may be a conversation that you guys have later, we'll see, but with a 19, you maybe also felt this like, I just got here. How does he know these things? That would most easily only be available with some type of mind reading.
He also tried to charm me.
He did.
And I know that he tried to charm me.
No, it wasn't a magical charm per se. It was just natural suaveness.
Back to the conversation at hand. Where did we leave off with him?
With him saying, basically, yes, I am using the children because they are adaptable and it gives them a great benefit to their life, but ultimately, I want to help someone he cares about. And obviously, Edward is sitting right there in the wheelchair.
As you seem to know a little bit about me, just in case I hadn't introduced myself, my name is Dr. Elias Stone. I am also a doctor. In fact, very good friends with Dr. Iris Stonecipher. So, if it's possible, I would certainly like to meet this Dr. Wickham. I'm amazed that he was able to find these children and to be able to provide them to you. It seems awfully, almost I would say suspicious, but I don't want to be suspicious. I'm just saying the chance of that happening are pretty good for you, especially since that's what you're looking for, to increase the ability to have these prosthetics advanced technologically, if you will.
I'll say it. It's suspicious. It's suspicious that you need several individuals to try out these prosthetic limbs, and it just so happens a lot of children in the city have lost limbs. Do you not see that as suspicious?
And Edward from the wall says, If I may, sir, Ironspire is a dangerous place. Accidents happen. It happened to all of us.
Especially when you're being dangled over hungry sharks. Anyone see a reaction from either of these two when August says that?
Do we do an insight on
You could do an insight or perception.
14.
18 insight.
16 insight.
You don't see any reaction at all from either one. I mean, the only reaction is maybe just a slightly furrowed brow on Edward, as in like, what?
I certainly don't want to take away from your people. Now listen, I've got a doctor's office down near the docks. Again, I would like to see Dr. Wickham and talk to him about what he's doing. I've also been very close with the Ningahe orphanage. I'm working with them on several issues, so if there's any chance I might be able to meet with Dr. Wickham would be fantastic.
How fortuitous. Setting up your own practice.
Yes, I started it just a few days ago and actually kind of busy today, so the only reason I was actually in here was just to blow off some steam after taking care of some patients down by the docks.
And he looks at Edward. Edward, not to make you a scribe, but if you'll pay attention to that, see if perhaps Dr. Stone's location is something that we might want to partner together with. And Dr. Stone Cipher, you know her?
I do. Well, back when I was a child at the Calamar Orphanage.
Blessings to Ceos. This is fortuitous. And of course, we can help you meet Dr. Wickham at the Piercing Light Orphanage. We can definitely make a connection there.
And I'd certainly be willing to help my services to you if you need any help at all.
Thank you. I appreciate that. He looks over at August and says, your suspicion's a good trait, young man. And evidently you have some skill, got your sword, your weapon through security. Any more like you out there? Good folks, sharp wits, maybe looking for some extra coin?
I'll look to each person in this room. Yes, a few.
We should talk. We should see if we can help those folks that might be looking for a good job and something to do. Get them off their feet or whatever, or even yourself.
You're right. Apologies. I'll push my chair back and stand up. I have been too suspicious. And I will pull my gloves out of my belt, set them on the table. I will readjust my uncomfortable suit that I'm wearing because I'm not used to this. I will pick the gloves up and turn and start pacing on the side of the table as I put the gloves back into my belt. Let's try this a different way. I will be less accusatory this time. You say that you're trying to help benefit the city. Are you aware that children are being stolen out of their beds in orphanages, taken to a fishery at the docks, and having their limbs removed by being dangled over live hungry shark?
You see the corner of his lips tug up in kind of a disbelieving smile, like in other people it might be shock, but he has the social graces to hide that. And he's like, well, that would be quite devastating.
Is there any other explanation? And I motion to the dwarf. And I say, yes, terrible things happen in the city. Accidents happen in the city. I know all too well the dangers and perils of what can happen in the Clockwork City. But to children in an orphanage, this number, that to many of them, and I motion my hand up as though upstairs, doesn't strike you as something that needs attention. Does it not fit into your business? Is there not a coin to make off of it?
I'll be honest, Mr. August,
It's Mr. Graymore.
Mr. Graymore, my apologies. And he looks at you and says, August Graymore, my apologies. He's very clearly putting the name in his memory. Since we're speaking bluntly, let me say, sometimes I don't pay attention to the little things. Sometimes I don't pay attention to the most common levels of the street anymore. And perhaps that's a flaw, but I will look into what you say and we'll see what we need to do. And then the dwarf clears his throat. Mr. Pierce, you have guests waiting upstairs. Oh, yes, I do.
Yes, Mr. Pierce, go be onwards and upwards. Always rising to the top.
Yes.
Don't let anything stand in your way on the way out.
Well, if you all need anything, please feel free to contact me, contact Edward, let me know. Word will be sent to you. Dr. Stone, that would be great. August, if you think of some folks who have skills like your own, let me know. He gives a little nod to Moxie. Ms. Moxie, it was a pleasure to meet you. I hope you have a fine evening. And then he looks over at disguised Sable. Don't know that I got your name, good sir, but thank you for being here. Slight pause.
I don't acknowledge him.
And then he gets up.
I look forward to working with you, Mr. Pierce.
As he's standing at the door, but before he's exited the door, Mr. Pierce, and I'm going to pick up the money bag and huck it at him in like a friendly toss. I'm not trying to hurt him,
right.
but to give it back to him.
Yeah. So as you throw it, Edward reaches out to try and grab it, and it just sails past his fingers and hits Mr. Pierce in the chest.
I can't afford the taxes. The king always takes the biggest cut, you know.
Fair play. And he just turns and walks on out. Edward just sitting there at the edge of the door, with the door still open, the music and stuff from outside filtering in.
I think I'm gonna retire for tonight, stand up, pick my hat up, and the money bag gets subtly picked up as well.
Yes.
Whoever you are, good night.
Illusionary hat comes back on top of invisible hat, which is now a real hat. As you're walking out the door, there's a money bag on the ground.
Oh. The natural one, so I actually accidentally kick it.
With a natural one, as you kick the bag, it kind of partially opens and like coins kind of scatter all across the carpet.
A whole crowd of people.
In front of you. And
Have some dignity, people.
there's no rush for it, but people do kind of notice it. And if you don't pick it up or if someone doesn't pick it up, they're going to subtly, like, kind of nonchalantly walk over there and start picking things up. But
Are you gonna go pick it up?
No.
I will pick it up.
So just to be clear, I do leave, but I hang out on like one of the main streets that would lead directly to the siren song to wait for the rest of them.
Okay, so Edward is holding the door for us.
the door has remained open and he's just sitting there.
As we're walking out or walking past Edward, I'm going to just sort of recap out loud in your direction the conversation. So, and I have my drink in my hand still. So, let me get this straight. He had nothing to do with the children getting harmed, but their injuries is benefiting his business propositions. But yet he has no idea how the children were harmed. I wonder whether business could benefit from happy accidents. And I'll drop my glass on the ground with some force to make it break. Oops. And I'll look down at the dwarf in his eye. Another happy accident. And walk out.
Red Dirt D&D Curse of the Clockwork City is Brooke Bullock as our Dungeon Master, Kerri Hester as Moxie, Connor Shenold as Sable, Johnny Payne as August E. Graymore, and I'm Michael Cross as Dr. Elias Stone. Our theme music comes from Ovani Sound. Our sound effects and additional music courtesy of Jeffrey McBride, Monument Studios, Describe.com, and TabletopAudio.com. Dice for the Red Dirt D&D cast provided by ST Way Gaming. You can find us at reddirtdnd.com. If you are enjoying Red Dirt D&D, make sure to subscribe, rate us, and leave a comment. Also, tell your friends about Red Dirt D&D. You can also support the show at patreon.com/reddirtdnd at whatever giving level works best for you. Join us next time as we discover more secrets in the Clockwork City.